Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's paper crafting video, I'm going to be playing with dies, stamps, and hot foil plates from Crafty Meraki. This is part of a hop. We're celebrating their latest release, and I'm going to show you how I mastered these beautiful, intricate dies. Now, this is part of a hop, so make sure you check out the description box below for all the details. We'll talk about that more as we go. Here are the products that I'm going to be using today. I have this high in a stamp set and a shimmer set. It's a hot foil set with a die. I also have the Just a Note hot foil set with die, and I love how they have the examples on the back of what it looks like. So this is the floral die in Peony. It's a layering die, and you can see there are lots of layers. When you open the insert, it has the pictures of how you're going to layer these up for the large peony, the little bud, and the two different leaves, and it shows you how to cluster them together. So I'm going to die cut all of these from white cardstock, just like you see here, and then I laid them out in the order that they appear in the sample, in the directions, and that was going to help me be able to just go in order. I figured it out already when everything was die cut. I laid it in that order. Now for my flour, I'm using Distress Oxide and Picked Raspberry, Kitsch, Flamingo, and Spun Sugar. I'm going to use some blending style brushes on a mat that, helps me so that the little die cuts don't move around. And this is from Waffle flour. I'm going to use a smaller blending brush when I'm blending on those smaller die cuts. I'm only using 3 colors, even though there's like so many layers to this, but you can always go lighter and darker with one color of ink. So really you can get like 6 different colors. And I also think that layering die cuts look okay or even good when you're doing the same color. You still get some dimension there, and it just still adds to the look even if they're the same color. You could totally do this with colored cardstock as well. So, it's really something you can play with and get different looks by how you decide to do your die cuts. So I'm going to move on now to my lightest color, which is the Spun Sugar, and that's really going to give me that depth when you have the variation of colors there and that lightest color on top. I really think it just helps it to pop. So as I'm coloring these and then laying them back down, I'm making sure and being careful to keep them in order. And while I have out my inks and my mat and my brushes, I'm going to go ahead and do all my ink blending. So I'm doing that little bud, which is 4 different layers. And this time I am working lightest to darkest with my inks, and that's really smart if you're using like one brush for your pinks, because then you don't have to worry about cleaning it off so well. All right, so now it's time to assemble. I've got the directions there, I've got everything laid out in order, and the other thing I'm doing to master this, besides following the pictures, is to use the right tools. I have tweezers there to help me hold those tiny die cuts, and I have precision tipped glue. This makes it so much easier for me, and I just take my time. There's also a little like triangle there in the die cut, and that is another thing I realized helps you line up all these pieces. Eventually that will get covered, but it kind of gives you a sense of direction, what direction to put these. And you can see there are some really small pieces, and if you just go slow, you can kind of see, oh, that little bump goes with this little bump, and it really helps. And the pictures are more helpful than I thought they would be, and it really took some of the guesswork out of it for me. So this looks to be kind of hard, but if you stick to laying out your die cuts as they come out of the die in the same order as the directions, if you have the right tools, this actually is not that bad. And I also feel like right here when I'm doing this, this is the first time I've ever put it together. I wanted to show you like for real how hard or easy it was. And I think that once you make one of these, it would be so much easier to continue to make them. And so while you have all the stuff, you might as well make a few more, right? Okay, so here's the little bud. Like I said, it is 4 different pieces. There's also a step-by-step broken out image directions for you to follow for this. So very nice that they have that, because this might be for me impossible to figure out without a picture. I do so well when I have a visual reference. So hopefully this video is another visual reference for you. All right, now it's time to move on to the leaves. This is the largest leaf in the set there at the top. And then we have the smaller leaf that is more three-pronged, and these are the top layers. So I'm doing those in the lightest color. There's also the stem and the accent to the stem I'm doing there. Okay, so here's the base pieces, the solid pieces. I'm going to do these in a darker green. So this is Mowed Lawn, and my lightest color is Twisted Citron. And these are really easy to do, a lot easier to layer up, but there's still a visual reference in the directions, and you can see how easy that lines up, how it layers up and really gives a look of dimension. It makes it look so fancy. My whole card, I feel like, is so fancy, and I keep singing a song that has that word in it. You know, I'm so fancy. Yeah, that's what this card is to me. So there is my three-pronged leaf there. I love this one, and it really, having the different leaves with all the dimension, it really brings the flower to life. And then here's the stem to our little bud. It's really cute, and that just glues on really easy right at the base. It's got a little end that kind of peels off. I think that's really cute. Look at that. Okay, so on the back it shows you different ways you can configure this. That big one is actually with 3 of the peonies put together. Now I'm going to take the leaf die and I'm going to die cut this out several times, but I just want those 2 main solid leaves, and I'm using that to create the background for my A2 sized card. So you can see I have several there. I'm laying them out how I think I'm going to do them before I set to gluing, so I make sure I have enough and that everything is kind of working together before I bring out the glue. And then when I do, again, having the right tools made it so easy. Tweezers and precision tipped glue helped me lay this out without getting a lot of glue that squishes out on my background. I just trimmed off the excess that hangs out over the edge, which you do want a background where your die cuts hang off the edge. It helps it look like it's like cut from a bigger piece, and it looks like more symmetrical. I splattered that with some perfect pearls to give it a little shine in the background, and now it's time to bring the other elements in. So here's that high shimmer die and foil set. I'm using prism foil and my quick cutter there, quick trimmer, to cut a piece of foil that's going to be the right size for the word high. I also had the Just a Note set, and while I have out my hot foiling, I'm going to go ahead and hot foil that as well. So you can see I've got my plate on my preheated glimmer hot foil system. It is face up. I put the foil pretty side down and then my cardstock on top of that. I'm going to add the plates that go to the glimmer system, and I do have a shim in between them. Press the timer. That timer goes off after about a minute. You remove the entire base from the glimmer hot foil system and run that through the die machine. The heat and the pressure are going to transfer that foil onto your cardstock. Now I had a little over foiling, like little baggy pieces around the edge, and I just used a brush to brush those away, and I have the perfect hot foiled sentiment. So I'm going to get the Just a Note going. The die or the plate is pretty side up, the foil is pretty side down, then my cardstock and my plates. While that's heating up, I actually have enough time to go ahead and die cut out the hot foiled word high. You can see it there, and it is so cool. I love the swirly part that comes off the bottom of the eye. It's so pretty, so fancy. All right, so here's Just a Note, and this also has a die to cut it out. And what's cool about this die, it die cuts out the words so they are individual. So now you can configure that however you like on your card. All right, I am going to take the die that die cuts out the word high. I die cut it from some silver cardstock and some like holographic cardstock, and I'm going to create shadow layers where this die is offset from that, and it just looks so fun, and I love the different silvers on there. So very pretty. Love it. Setting that aside and doing some stamping now with the high stamp set. So I'm going to stamp out the word sweetheart on pink cardstock. I'm using clear embossing ink, and I'm going to emboss that with white powder so it really pops off of that white or off of that pink cardstock, and it kind of matches the white background in my card. So I am heating that to melt the powder, and then I have this banner die I keep on my desk. I use it a lot. It fits a lot of sentiments. Now, I'm also using the word thinking of you from this set. I wanted you to know there also is a just a note stamp set. So if you like the just a note, you can get the coordinating stamp set for those. And there's also die sets that go with these words that are going to die cut the word high, a tight shadow layer, and a wider shadow layer. And there's also the word hey and hello in this release. There's also other flowers in this release. It's a really pretty release. So we'll have all the things linked for you below, just as we have the hop linked for you below. Now I am laying out my die cuts where I want them to go, and then I'm going to pick up each piece and glue it down. While I'm doing that, let me tell you about our giveaway because it's amazing. They are giving away a $100 gift card to the Crafty Meraki site. That is worth entering, right? So to enter, there is a link for you to fill out the giveaway form in the description box below. And so make sure you do that before the end of February. The winner will be announced on the Crafty Meraki YouTube page, their community tab. And also this hop is in a playlist. So I have the playlist linked for you below. Click on the playlist and you'll see every single video in this hop, and you're going to want to check it out because my fellow designers are amazing and made some really cool stuff with this release. All right, so I added some baubles that are mirrored to my card, and I'm going to set that aside, and I wanted to stamp the inside of my card. So I want to do that before I put the, cover on it. So I'm going to stamp that word high because it's so pretty, and I'm using Kitsch Flamingo Distress ink. I stamped it a few times, and then what I like about the stamp set is that you can overlap the printed out sub-sentiments over the word high. Like that. Hi, love you. All right, so I closed that up, and now I'm gluing down my cover piece, which is actually 1/4 of an inch smaller than my card base. So the card base is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. All right, so now I'm moving on to the envelope part of my card. I have my envelope punch board. It has all the measurements on there for any size card you want to make. It tells you how big to cut the paper you're making your envelope for, and it has step-by-step directions like punch it here, line it up with the measurement, then turn it, line up your score mark with the little line on the punch part. You see what it's doing there? It's so easy to make. So after you measure it one time, all you have to do is line up that scored line with the indicator on that punch part. And then you punch out the notches, which helps you fold and put this together. And then it even has a corner rounder to finish it off. It stores the crease tool. I love the punch board. I haven't used it in a while, so I thought it would be fun to make a matching envelope for this card. I love gingham. I think it goes with anything. And this color, I could see it over there on my paper rack as I was making this card. I'm like, this gingham totally matches the pink of my peony, so I have to do it. So what I'm going to do now is make a decorative piece for this. So it's not going to close up like your traditional envelope where you would glue the sides together. I'm going to make a little circular piece that's going to Velcro this and open and shut it so you can kind of open it like a present. So my circular piece is green. I backed it with a white die cut that's just a hair bigger to make it more sturdy, and then I put my just a note on there and my thinking of you, which I embossed with the grass color a dark green Distress Oxide ink, which I used to ink blend my leaves, and clear powder. I die cut it out with that banner, and then I just put it all together, glued it to the top flap, and here is my lightweight Velcro I'm adding, making sure to place it right so it hits the paper in the right spot. And then I put the scratchy side down because it's clear Velcro, so when you open this you don't see it very much, and then the whiter piece is on the white paper. And you can see you can open and close this kind of like a present. Isn't that cool? So there's my card ready to go. Just a note, thinking of you. I love it. I think the font on these words is so pretty, and that peony is amazing. There's also a rose and like a wreath in this release. I'll have it all linked for you below so you can check it out, and make sure you click on the playlist, hop along, and don't forget to enter our giveaway. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe. I have new paper crafting videos for you all the time. I will see you very soon on the next one. Happy stamping! Bye!